Hello and welcome, all my wonderful Coldplay friends out there. Coldplay just started Music of the Spheres tour, and in this video I kind of want to just discuss everything we've seen in the first few performances. We do have a lot of really interesting things to cover on this video, but before we get started, if you enjoy this content, enjoy seeing more Coldplay stuff, definitely subscribe. And if you're interested in talking more about Coldplay things, I have a Discord server where you can chat with other Coldplay fans out there. So that link is in the description. So love to see you there, and we can kind of chat one-on-one. So it's kind of cool. All right, so let's jump into this, starting with the set lists. So with the set list, I'm going to actually pull up a graphic here for you. And this is brought to you by Coldplaying on Twitter, who kind of just put this in a nice format here. So as we see, this is from the first two performances. We see that they're actually pretty similar. The only differences that I see really are in set two, they play Hymn for the Weekend instead of Orphans. And also in set two, they closed with Coloratura. And then in set one, they play God Put a Smile Upon Your Face and Everyday Life, instead of set two, where they play In My Place, where Will is singing in that song. So yeah, those are the set lists. Now, as we can see from this set list, it says kind of in the middle there, the Lightclub, that's what it is. And after seeing this, I was like, okay, what is this? And from my understanding, it's basically a portion of the set list where they kind of just like vibe a little bit and kind of like a nightclub feel. And they play Infinity Sign, Something Just Like This, and Midnight. And it's really funny because just a few things about this portion is that Chris is dancing a lot of the time, and it's just super cute. But they're also wearing alien masks. So you probably saw this on Twitter a little bit, or wherever you're following, that they wear these really goofy looking alien masks, which of course is relevant to Music of the Spheres. But another thing to mention about this section is that at least for one of the performances, I know Chris did do sign language for Something Just Like This, which was really nice to see. It's not something you think about when you think going to a music performance like this. So it was just really kind to see that, and I was just very appreciative of seeing that. So. But yeah, it's just really funny, all these alien masks too that everyone's kind of making memes and stuff about, so. Another kind of goofy moment in the set, or maybe it wasn't goofy, but it was just very unique, especially when we're talking about like props and things like that. They used a puppet. Now this was another thing that a lot of people were talking about after these sets, is that during Human Heart, they used this puppet right here. And it's like, it looks very much like a Muppet, and it's interesting because like there was so much back and forth as to like whether people were like, okay, this is really goofy, or people who just thought it was just fun. And I kind of think it was just a fun thing to add to the set, but it was kind of cool too because during this song, again, this is Human Heart, Chris, starts off singing on the main stage, and then the puppets on the, like that circle part. So there's like the main stage, there's like this little trail, and then that circle part. So the puppets on the circle part. So when the puppets start singing, then it's like, oh, they're there, and then they kind of like meet and stuff. So that was kind of cool to see. Personally, during performances, I think that it's really important to have something that's memorable. And I think definitely with this puppet and even the alien masks, that's something that people are going to talk about. You remember when Coldplay performed with a puppet, something that you'll be talking about years and years from now. So I think they kind of, thought about that, and were like, what, how can we make this unique? How can we make this kind of stand out for people to remember? So that was kind of cool to see them do that. Another thing I wanted to mention is that on the 19th, I'm not sure if it was in both sets or not, but right before Will sang In My Place, Chris just said something really cute and kind, something about sending out all your problems. So any like negative thoughts you have, just send them out into space. And then right after he said that, there was like this firework that shot up, and kind of just a symbol of sending out all those negative thoughts and everything. So that was just a really cool moment in the set. Speaking of In My Place though, that was just super cool to see Will sing that song. I don't know if I've ever seen him or heard him sing In My Place before, but of course he's sung during sets before. The last time I actually went to a Coldplay concert, he did sing too. And he did a fantastic job, and he actually played piano too during this, during In My Place. Just a few other quick things to talk about with these sets is that it looks like there are 3 different stages, or at least in these first shows, there are 3 different stages. The main stage, the small stage, that small circle stage, and then another stage. It was kind of hard to see that other stage because during those sets, when they used the other stage, it was super dark. So you could really only see it from the video on their stage and everything like that. So not sure exactly where that is, but for example, I'm pretty sure they sang In My Place on that 3rd stage. Another thing to mention is that on the set lists, they're labeled, the different sections are labeled as planets, moons, stars, and home. So it's kind of, I don't know, exactly why they did it that way, but it's kind of cool to see. If you look at the different songs in those sections, it kind of makes sense, obviously like Sky Full of Stars is in the stars section and things like that. So another thing I wanted to mention is that Yellow was performed more like the original. So in recent performances, especially on like Instagram and like their, behind the scenes things, they've been performing Yellow super like chill, kind of laid back, where it's either acoustic or, just piano or whatever it is. And it looks like they're performing this one more in the traditional style. So that's kind of good to see too. I also wanted to mention that it was really funny and kind of just, I don't know, touching when Chris mentioned on the 19th that his dad was helping power the show. So if you don't know this by now, Coldplay has a few different ways to help power the show, including people like riding on bikes and stuff. And during the 19th performance, Chris's dad, Anthony, was at that performance on a bike. So he kind of cut to him and was like, hey, by the way, my dad's here and he's helping power everything. So that was kind of cute to see. And then another quick thing is that there, of course, is confetti at this performance, and it is in the shape of planets, stars, and hearts. Another thing that I wanted to bring up, which is super cool, I'm gonna pull up the Coldplay app. If you haven't downloaded the Music of the Spheres tour app, do it now, because there's a lot of cool things going on with that. But real quick, if you click on their previous performances, you click on, for example, on the 18th, and you can see that they have live photos from those performances. Even on like the 19th here, you can see different photos from each performance. So this leads me to believe that they're going to be doing this for every set, which is a really nice touch, just to kind of to see each performance and kind of, if you were there, like, oh, I remember when they did this. And hopefully, they'll capture very specific memories from those concerts. And yeah, just thought it was a cool thing to see on the app there. Now, as far as like things that I was personally excited to see, either from the set or, just the show in general, one, they played Humankind. Now, I've been talking about this and how Humankind is like one of my favorite songs on the new album, and I don't know if it's like a super popular song, so I wasn't sure if it would be on the set list, but it looks like in these first 2 performances, it is played. So I was just really excited to see that. I was also excited to see that Coloratura ended on the 2nd set. They didn't end it with the first set, but seeing it on the 2nd set, I just think it's a perfect ending for a set. And one of the last things I wanted to mention is that it's so funny because they start their set off with the music score for E.T. So Davey mentioned this in one of the comments of a Coloratura video that I made, where I literally compared Coloratura to the soundtrack of E.T. And he pointed that out and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so right. Because I just think it was funny because during Coloratura, there are these motifs that they use that remind me so much of E.T. And it's funny that they actually used the soundtrack for E.T. in their set list. So a little fun side note to kind of point at. But that's pretty much everything I needed to mention about the tour so far. I'm sure as we go on, there will be more updates and more unique qualities to each set. So again, if you haven't done so yet, subscribe and join the Discord, which is a link in the description. I love talking about tour and just set lists and unique things about each set, so if you're able to join us in the Discord, that would be greatly appreciated, just continuing the conversation. But thank you so very much for watching, and of course I'll see you in the next video, and I'll see you in the Discord, and can't wait for this tour to continue. But see you next time. Till then.